Hello and welcome everyone to the Jevan Show. I'm your host Jay alongside my co-host Vaughn, and we have a guest. I'll let Vaughn introduce him.
Yeah, he's here again. he's pretty much permanently here. It's not bullying.
Hate speech.
Before we get into today's topic, we have a little more serious topic we want to briefly talk about. So 18 years ago, on September 11th, the deadliest terror attack on America was committed. In 8:46, the first plane was crashed into the North Tower. At 9:03, the South Tower also had a plane crash into it. On 9:31, President Bush announced that we were under attack by terrorists. And at 9:37, the Pentagon was also hit by an aircraft. At 9:59, the South Tower collapsed, killing thousands. At 10:07, we had passengers overtake the terrorists heading towards Washington. They heard about the attacks in New York and decided they were going to do something about it. They were brave Americans and died protecting their fellow Americans. At 10:28, the North Tower also collapsed, killing hundreds. All in all, the death toll was around 2,977 and about 6,000 were injured. We want you to just sit down, take a moment, just have a moment of silence, remembering all those who were died, injured, and affected by these horrible attacks. And let's pray that these never happen again in our country.
And welcome back everyone. We appreciate your moment of silence with us. Now we will get on to our main topic about freedom of speech, and I will let Vaughn start us off.
So, in America, there's been a large group of people debating whether or not hate speech can coexist with free speech. It is of my opinion that it cannot, but before I start talking about it, I want to let my good friend Porky over here talk about it. He specifically requested this conversation, so I'm going to let him kind of just talk about it for a minute, and then we can all start jumping in.
So exactly a minute, right? Just kidding. So our fundamental freedoms are right now being under attack every single day in America, and it's actually kind of like freedom of speech and the Second Amendment. Two of them that are greatly under attack. But today we're going to talk about freedom of speech. So. Freedom of speech, and people think that hate speech and freedom of speech can coexist together and they go with each other, but the reason why we have freedom of speech because we do not want to regulate another person's speech. Hate speech is grabbing that speech and regulating it, the opposite of what the founding fathers wanted. The goal of free speech is to make sure that as long as it's not calling to action, that it's legal. And
not libel and slander.
Exactly. So if, let's say, a KKK member is strolling down the street and saying how he hates all black people or something like that, I don't know.
Or
it's more extreme, but
yeah, or just something like that.
Yeah.
But not calling to violence or anything.
Yeah, his speech is perfectly legal. Yes, it is very hateful, and I wouldn't necessarily think it's right speech, but he has the right to do it. That's something I totally agree with. Something like a conservative...
Not his speech.
Yeah.
That is the right that he has to say. Breaking news. Jevan Show supports KKK. This is comedy.
Pork Chop will no longer be on our podcast.
Oh, man, I guess we got to call the cops. Good knowing you. Sorry, continue. Oh man.
Another example is if a conservative talk show is being regulated about what they say, that's also something that I think or a liberal talk show, if either side of the aisle, if their speech is being regulated or something that they're saying is being blocked from the internet from people not being able to see it, then that should not be legal. That should be legal, sorry. That should not be legal to regulate their speech, is what I meant to say.
There was a quote from, I believe it was I don't know if he's a founding father, but he was a big figure in American history. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the quote goes along the lines of, "I hate what you're saying and I do not agree with it." I'm paraphrasing here, but I would die for your right to say it. Personally, that's pretty much the exact viewpoint I have. I would fight for your right to say that, oh, we should be communists and that we should, I don't know, take all the money from everybody and give it to the president. I think that's retarded, and I think we obviously shouldn't do that, but I would fight for your right to say that, because that's America, and you have the right to say this. But I think the crux of hate speech that nobody thinks about is the definition. Because the definition is always different depending on who you talk to. So having the people decide the definition would be impossible, because hate speech is different to everybody, right? So saying saying a racist comment about a Jew, okay? So you said that. To one person, that could be extremely offensive. But say you're, I don't know, like a jihadist and you hate the Jews or something like that. You could say that, and that would not be hateful to them. That would be something they agreed with. So who would be right? I mean, it would be he said, she said. Or if you said, I support abortion, some people would say that's hateful. Some people would agree with that. How could you tell? Who would get to decide? Then that's when it comes in. The government gets to decide.
Mm-hmm.
Then guess what? If the government can decide what you say, what's to stop them from regulating something they don't like? Then what? And it just snowballs from there. Then they can regulate your speech. Then if you can't say anything, they can regulate your rights. And what are you going to do about it? But that's the danger. This has already happened once before. I'm going to give a little example of it. Then I'll let you know who it was that did this. So there was this church. I'm not going to give the name. So this group, this political party, burned down this church and framed a certain people group for it to raise hatred for that certain people group in that country. And it worked. You want to know why? They had people in the government. So they used this attack, I use air quotes, to promote speech laws and regulations on those people because of a hate crime. See what I'm saying here? You want to know what that was? It was the Reichstag church fire in Germany before World War II. It was the Nazis that did that. They used hate speech and hate crimes to turn people against the Jews. See, hate speech laws and hate crime laws are extremely dangerous. It led to the rising of one of the most powerful and just literally insane regimes the world's ever seen. Killed millions. All because they got control of speech. After that, it all went downhill from there. Jay, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, the fact that somebody could talk to somebody else on the street and just say, I don't like the president, I don't like what he's doing, all this stuff. The fact that you can do that is,
It's insane.
yeah, riots. You are, I mean, unless you're trespassing or something, you are free to say something. Is it morally correct? No, but it's still your freedom. And if you want that taken away, then
Yeah.
you're pretty retarded.
There are very few countries that legitimately have the right to protest and the actual ability of free speech that's enshrined in the law. None of this, oh, we'll let you as long as we agree with it, or as long as it doesn't make us look bad. Legitimately enshrined in the Constitution.
It's freedom of speech if we agree with it.
Exactly.
It's
We're
freedom
looking
of
at you,
speech.
Britain. We're looking at you, Britain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just that one time they arrested a dude for making his pug do a Nazi salute. We're looking right at you, Britain. What? What? Does your police have nothing better to do? I know I've already talked about this. It just still infuriates me. Poor guy was just making a joke, okay? And just literally gets arrested and fined. That's nice. But yeah. Freedom of speech, hate speech cannot coexist. It's incompatible. Incompatible.
So, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
If I say, look at that black guy, is that racist, or should I say, look at that African American?
I
Would
would
that
say,
be hate speech?
no, I think saying African American would be racist because you're assuming he's from Africa because he's black. If you
Mhm.
think about it, you're technically, in the technical term, you may not mean it as racism, but technically that would be racist because you're assuming something because of their skin color. But black guy, I don't know. It's, what else are you supposed to say?
I mean,
I mean, as long as you are not actually being racist, dude, personally, I have mixed cousins. They're half black and half white. And they do not think that is racist. I have friends that are black, and they don't think that's racist. They say that all the time. They don't ever say African American. They say white dude, black dude, all that stuff. I mean, it depends on the connotation of how you say it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like how you can inflect your words to make them sarcastic and stuff like that. Just a word isn't always necessarily arbitrarily racist unless it's a racist slang term.
I mean, the people that say it's hate speech. If a black guy has a problem saying he's a black guy, uh, I don't know why. I mean, I'm a white guy. I can be called a white guy. I do
Yeah.
not care.
Yeah.
So why would you want to be called an African American? Why would you not want to be an American?
Yeah, I mean, why are we playing racial politics here? We're all Americans, right? Right?
I am.
Me too. I was born here. I mean, why we gotta separate each other into groups? I got like 15% Indian in me, but I'm American first. I'm not American Indian. I'm American.
And I'm not. I'm gonna chase a rabbit here, but
You chase it.
the people that are really racist are the people who are saying that the other people are racist. If I say, hey, there's a black guy, and then some other dude's like, you're a racist because you put him in minority calling him a black guy. No, you're the racist because you're saying he's a minority. I'd say nothing
You're
about
acting
that.
like he doesn't have enough, power in him to defend himself from that supposed racist comment. You're
Yeah.
having to come in and save him because he's a minority, because they can't fight for themselves. Like, how is that not racist? That's so patronizing.
Exactly.
It's like you're treating them like children. I mean, they're human beings just like everybody else. There's nothing different about them. It's literally just their skin color. Like, dude, I don't. It's like patronizing that. I'm like, how can you say that and not realize that?
hmm
Ridiculous.
One thing that's funny to me is a white guy says something in public making fun of a white guy and a black guy, and it's like, oh, he's racist. But black guys make fun of it, like a white guy and a black guy. It's hilarious.
I've heard more black guy jokes from black people than I've ever heard from white guys. Personally, I don't know if it's everybody's experience, but personally, it's always the black guys that make the racist jokes about black guys,
Yeah.
but they're obviously messing around, and they'll make racist jokes about white guys.
Yeah, they even say about white guys.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, unless it's something stupid,
Well,
I don't care.
obviously.
If it's funny.
Yeah, they're not being racist; they're just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if somebody wants to make a racist joke about me, honestly, I won't care either way, because if you're actually being racist to me, I'll just be like, I don't actually care. But, I mean, I don't understand people who want to lump people who just want to, I don't know, let's just say, I don't even know how to word this properly, because it's so simple. Like, why would you try to lump me in with somebody who's a literal active KKK member just because I would say black guy instead of African American, because I think African American technically could be racist. I mean, how is that fair? I mean, what?
Are you supposed to say dark white?
That's racist.
Exactly.
Burnt. I don't know.
And we're not being racist. It's legitimately questioned. What are
Yeah,
you
I
supposed
mean-
to say?
Until you know their name, you know what I mean? I mean, if I see a white guy, and there's a bunch of different races in the room, I'd be like, hey, do you see that white guy over there with the red hair, or something like that? I don't single out races. Like, personally, as a kid, I didn't even understand racism until I was maybe 12 years old, and I was just like, people do that? It didn't make any sense to me. Like, it didn't ever even occur to me to be racist as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe it helped that I had mixed cousins, but I mean, I know now everybody, it has a chance of that happening to them. But still, I mean, like, how do you raise your child if they think it's okay? Like, if supposedly how many people are racist, who raises their children just be like, oh yeah, it's okay to be racist from like 5 years old? I don't know. I don't know, man. Racism has become so politicized. It's kind of scary because the actual racists just get away with being racist.
Yeah.
Because like it's even happened to me where I hear so and so accused of racism, I immediately write it off in the back of my mind because so many times it's just been fabricated and made up and stretched for no reason that I just automatically have doubt. You know what I mean? Like it's just immediate. You know what I mean? That's dangerous.
It's kind of like Trump. Like, people constantly call him a racist. And they literally brought a white supremacist on, was it CNN or MSNBC? I don't know.
One of the two.
One of the two. They literally brought a white supremacist and tried to get him to say that he liked Trump so he could link him to a white supremacist and call him Trump a racist. To get
You're
him.
like, that's not how that works. The Trump has to actually say he likes him, right? Like, what?
So not only did you bring a white supremacist on your show,
Like, first off, that's just desperation. That's sad.
but you brought his ideals into the public eye and made white supremacism, you know the word,
Yeah.
more open to people that didn't know what it meant.
Nice.
Makes no sense.
Congratulations, you played yourself. Nice job. Like, I wouldn't even let if a white supremacist asked me, "Hey, can I be on the Jevan show?" I'd be like, "Bro, really? Seriously? No. Like, there's literally no way. Like, there's certain people. Like, I would let a far left person on the show if they want to talk, but I wouldn't let somebody that was hateful and actually wanted to harm another race. No, I would not give you a platform. I wouldn't even mention to the audience that you wanted to be on the platform. Nobody would ever know you even spoke to me, because I don't want to be involved in any way with you. Goes with either like Antifa, same way with that. Both sides. No, I'm not going to be involved with any of you. I don't understand why you would want to even just to trap Trump. Dude, there's other things that you go after Trump for. Just chill. Don't do something that would actually possibly bring harm to other people, or be like, think racism is okay. Dude, just please use your brain, just a little bit. The Trump craze. It's not just a meme, apparently. Brings a white supremacist on.
I mean, he's a Nazi, man. I mean,
You're like, I guess-
Neo-Nazi.
What's the difference? Is it just saying it's a Nazi in 2019? Like,
Pretty
okay,
much.
okay. No, I think technically it's a Nazi that's not German. I'm like, okay, whatever. Just, dude, you know what makes me mad though?
people.
Other than people, whenever people say Nazis are far right, and I'm like, you do realize Nazis the National Socialist Party of Germany, right? And I've told that to some of my friends. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
You
Didn't
just
you
don't
learn
do
that in
any
history?
freaking
Yeah.
research.
Didn't you like go through history in high school too? Like, come on. Dude, it's literally in your history book.
I mean, use a simple thing called Google.
Yeah, Google. I feel like we should stop talking about Nazis. I'm just getting mad now.
I mean, but one more thing. If you care about the issue so much, about racism, at least be smart about it.
Okay, racism is much more important than people actually think. They politicize it. They forget that racism caused legitimate deaths at one point. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's devolved now into, oh, this guy called me this. He called me that. Meanwhile, just, math is failing me, but like some 70 years ago, the Holocaust happened. That's racism, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's just enough to be said that racism is a legitimate and important thing that we need to take very seriously.
It's the people that constantly say
It's politicizing. It infuriates me.
you're racist, and like the squad, who constantly are like, yeah, the Jews are awful and they're racist. They literally called them having them the second Holocaust. I'm just like, you do realize what the first Holocaust was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you do know you're talking about the Jews, right?
Meanwhile, Illinois are being racist to Jews, but I guess we'll ignore that. That's a topic for another day.
Yes.
But I just want to say, Ilhan, the fact that you are a congresswoman and you talked about 9/11 the way you did is disgusting. The fact that you could just sit there and say so nonchalantly that somebody did something, well, that something caused 2,977 people to die and over 6,000 being injured and tens of thousands of others being affected. Oh, and then not to mention how many have died fighting Iraq, Afghanistan, all the Middle Eastern countries, how many civilians died there, just how many people died in general. So, you disgust me, is all I'm going to say. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest.
That's all we have for you today. We did kind of veer off our subject, but
A little bit.
Just a
I
bit.
mean, it's all right.
I don't know if we can call it free speech anymore, but you know.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
we were
mean,
exercising it, right? guys?
yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, what are we doing right now?
Exactly.
But one thing I want to say before we end this is I'm very thankful for this country.
All right.
And I mean, it's not perfect, but if everything you do is complain about it, why don't you go live in North Korea or
The fact
something?
that you can complain and think that you're oppressed in America is pretty insane and awesome.
Just go live in the Middle East for a while.
Yeah.
That's all I
You'll
need to
come
say.
back.
It's not perfect by far, but it's still the greatest country on earth. Pork Chop, thank you for joining us. Vaughn, next time. And good night.
If you want